Hi guys and welcome back to another, it's me Cam from Cam's Cobb, and welcome back to another daily Chelsea transfer news video where today I'll be talking about the unfortunate news about Michael Olise, Reece James, Lewis Hall and two new Chelsea striker options along with all things Chelsea. So if you're new, I'm Cam from Cam's Cobb and I do daily Chelsea transfer news videos. I'm trying to get to 1,400 subscribers before we face off against West Ham on Sunday, so if you could like and subscribe, that'd help me a lot. But without further ado, let's get in the first story. And yes, it's been an absolute rotten day to be a Chelsea fan, but there's some good stories smidged in there. But without further ado, we'll for a bit Romano, who has said Crystal Palace informed club lawyers of their intention to consider going to a tribunal with Chelsea over approach for Olise. That's how the story changed. Palace very strong on that, and Chelsea left the conversation. Olise accepts new deal. Palace very happy with that, and that is following the fact that Olise has signed a new 4-0 deal with Crystal Palace, with the backdrop being Crystal Palace. We're kind of going to be snitching about how we found about the release clause. Apparently there was tapping up, so that's probably one of the main reasons why Chelsea backed off, and he signed a new deal for Palace, meaning the deal will not go through. From signing one of the most exciting talents in the Premier League for 35 million, yeah, that would have been if too good. This is a bit of karma, not really karma, but we kind of been bossing the transfer window this window, so we kind of have to have a bit of backlash. But of course, very upsetting about the story. Chelsea still need to look for more attackers, which I'll be talking about later in today's video. But yeah, that remains the focus. Olise wouldn't even be fit for our next game anyway, so that's one thing we can hang on to, and hopefully, in another life in the future, maybe we'll sign Olise, but it's going to be for a lot more money. On to the next story. And whilst you're all in the dumps, I'm just going to bring you a story about Reece James, and this is from Nathan Gisden saying Chelsea captain Reece James has picked up a fresh hamstring injury due for a scan later today. Yep, he was only captain for one game, but what a special game it was. He put on a great performance, and everyone was saying Chelsea would be so well this year if our wing back stayed fit. It looks like it's going to be surgery, so he's going to be out for a couple of months with Fofana and Nkunku. Great, but this ties me on to another fallback to the Lewis Hall deal, where it looks like he's going to be joining Newcastle. I'm going to go to Jacobs Ben, who has said Chelsea and Newcastle are certainly advancing for Lewis Hall, although this morning nothing 100% agreed yet. Newcastle optimistic they may change soon. I've seen stories that he grew up a Newcastle fan. Yeah, wow, we've heard it all before. But what's most annoying is the 18-year-old is leaving for Newcastle rather than, let's be honest, the shithouse £62 million Cucurella, who's somehow staying at the club. Of course, I said this yesterday, this is the thing with Chelsea. We can't have it our way, buy all these players and not, get ready when young talent leaves. Sam Wallace-Tell have said Chelsea decided that a 28 million plus fee on offer for Newcastle was too high to turn down for Lewis Hall. Too high? I think you're too high, Todd Bowley. Yeah, anything between the 45 to 50 million pound mark I'd be actually more happy about. But to think Tino Livramento, former Chelsea left back, went for 45 million and he's just a few years older. I know the 18 mark means there is potential, but he's only 18, that's why the fee's low. But yeah, very annoying that we're selling to a direct rival. It's not even a loan, so when we play Newcastle, he won't be playing. I'm sure when in that game comes, you're going to be very happy to beat Chelsea. But yeah, that's probably all the bad news today, wherever you see it. On to the next story. And I did say, however, that you see it, because from Michael Olise we're looking at Brennan Johnson, and without further ado I'm going to go to Tom Roddy, who has said Chelsea have held preliminary talks with Nottingham Forest over Brennan Johnson. He's valued at 50 million and have already rejected a 40 million bid from Brentford. Yeah, 35 million for Olise, 50 million for Brennan Johnson. I don't know about that. Of course, played pretty well last year for Nottingham Forest. Still young, but has that electric speed that everyone knows him for. Missed the sitter against Arsenal on the weekend, but we're not going to dwell on that. Lee Percy from the Telegram has said Todd Bowley has been in contact with Forest owners in over preliminary negotiations for Brennan Johnson. So the deals and the links are actually true, but what I am going to say is I will be talking about another attacking player later. It looks like Chelsea are going to be scouring the market for young attacking players that fit the mould, so don't be surprised if more and more options come out day by day. Will it bring Brendan Johnson? Well, he has that Premier League experience that could probably put him above the rest. Well, not too sure, but hopefully not for £50 million. I know the market's a bit crazy, but Morgan Gibbs-White, 45 million, that's kind of the market we're in. Anthony Gordon, 45 million, yeah. Brendan Johnson probably is that much. On to the final story. Is about Bradley Barcola. Now, he has been linked with Barcelona, funny enough, the last couple months and weeks, and it looks like lots of teams in Europe were scouting for a signature. But since we've lost that Olise deal, from one Frenchman to another French winger, I'm going to go to Fabrice Hawkins, who has said, breaking news, Chelsea have accelerated for Bradley Barcola in their last few hours. No final green light for the player. Lyon already refused an offer of 35 million euros from PSG. Maybe 45 million euros. Younger than Olise, but of course less experience and less Premier League experience as he played for Lyon. Lyon just got dunked by Chelsea owned Strasbourg on the weekend, so do we want to have that on our ranks? Not too sure. Fabrice Hawkins carries on by saying Lyon have put forward the figure of 42 million pounds to sell Barcola. Yep, that's there for the potential. Of course, if you're not too sure about him, he looks a bit like a bird and his comps are very nice. Only the 8 assists in the league last year, I think, paired with 3 goals, which isn't too bad. But Chelsea, let me know if you actually want to go for that deal. But yeah, that's all the story for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, where hopefully we can get a bit more good news. See you then.